Just a wet go of things. Thanks for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm meteorologist Melissa Constanzer. That was some of the sites of the flooding across Arizona, which did force quite a few water rescues in and around the Valley of the Sun, which is the Phoenix area. So we've had Scottsdale reporting a lot of them, Phoenix itself reporting quite a few. We even had some challenges into southern Nevada with heavy rainfall and the risk for flooding. That's the monsoonal moisture still piping its way on in. But it's not the main focus as we look across the U.S. A lot of us pretty quiet and dry. We'll get some action into next week in the Northwest. It is this along the you've been dealing with the wet weather. This is still lifting north, which means yes, New England, you'll get in on the action and the chance for rainfall. Let's take a look at the numbers for today, because if you aren't dealing with the rain weather yet again today. Our top story as we continue to talk about it this morning is that threat for some of the activity to continue on the eastern coast by them at times. And they probably are saying, what tropical system? Nothing really happened, but we are keeping our eye on the Atlantic. First up, I have the satellite, and you'll note that St. Thomas away from this moisture that has already worked its way through and is still developing over Cuba. That's going to be the focus of our talking point, but I want to hit on Humberto because this is a major hurricane. It's been a Category 4 storm here as it's worked its way through a good chunk of the Atlantic and still can strengthen. So as we talk about this here, the storm system is a strong enough, powerful enough, and already well-defined storm to work its way right around this high. That much we know. Humberto is going to make that move and continue to work its way around the Bermuda high, so to speak. So because of that, we can pull its track map up and show you how it has an influence on our tropical rainstorm. There's been a lot of talk about this becoming Imelda. We will wait and see for that, but it is currently a tropical rainstorm as it's pulling its way through the islands. You saw all the clouds and the showers and the wet weather. This will continue to produce that wet weather over the Bahamas, for example, places like Nassau getting on the rain threat today. As this continues to push its way off towards the northeast, we will have some moisture even developing into Florida, but this is the one to watch because watch, it's not organized yet at all. There's no circulation to it. That's why it doesn't have a name at this point in time. But because of that, and because of how long it's been taking to generate itself into a tropical system, we really can't fully know its path just yet. Once it starts to organize and get its center, then we'll have a little bit better idea. But you can see it's starting to hint at organizing as we go into tomorrow morning. Northward, that slower movement. The question is, does Humberto have enough strength to try to pull it back out towards sea, or does it get sucked up into all the leftover energy across the southeast? These are some big questions. At this point, we know there will at least be some impacts to the coast as far as rain and wind as you work your way into the Carolinas. So we are expecting some of that, some wind. Those questions will have a great impact on this rain. So this has been a forecast. Our forecasters have been updating. Meteorologists have been combing over this forecast for days now, trying to pin it all out for you. But do prepare for that risk of heavy rain and flooding in the Carolinas. All right, let's take Phoenix, Los Angeles, a couple of afternoon thunderstorms creating some challenges for you. We do have those afternoon thunderstorms in Atlanta and Miami, but note that there will be some more challenges towards Raleigh as we get the chance for some heavier rain with thunderstorms today. We've already seen some of those issues across central North Carolina at this point in time, so there certainly can be some bigger travel delays for you. Into the northeast, at least the mid-Atlantic, I should say. New England staying dry, and New York dry, but as you work your way farther south, as we've moved through September, AccuWeather is now the official weather partner of Good 360, helping the nonprofit deliver critical resources to communities before, during, and after weather disasters. Ali Reed shows us how AccuWeather's forecasts and warnings with proven superior accuracy will strengthen Good 360's disaster preparedness and response network. Well, let's take a look across the northeast because you don't need to be prepared for too much today, but the wet weather is going to be in place across the mid-Atlantic, so expecting to stay dry for the game as temperatures hold on to the 70s under the lights here as Oregon comes to Pennsylvania. Taking you through time, though, that rain won't be too far off. It'll be off towards the southeast as we go through. Well, of course, as we continue to follow two teams, 0 losses. Yes, we're talking about the Philadelphia team heading to steamy Tampa for the battle of the unbeaten. Here's what sports betting analyst Anita Marks is keeping an eye on heading into Sunday. All right, me, I'm just trying to keep my fantasy team alive. It's not going well, guys. Well, it hasn't been growing all that great across parts of Arizona. They had quite a bit of flooding there as we went through yesterday. But if you're off towards east, mainly dry, beautiful weather as we start off the weekend and honestly move through the close of it there. We'll be talking about sunny, dry conditions. But this moisture continues across the southwestern U.S. We'll look for more heavy rain. There were a lot of flooding rescues. And you can see how this was a rapidly intensifying storm and stayed a hurricane into northern Georgia because it was moving so fast northward. Even though it was a tropical storm in western North Carolina, it still produced hurricane force wind gust. So there were some huge challenges there. All in all, dumping more than 2.5 feet of rainfall in some of the North Carolina mountains. We had wind gusts of more than 100 miles per hour. Keep in mind that there was 10-foot storm surge in Florida as this came ashore. That storm surge forced at least 100, more than that I should say, water rescues. So some big challenges there. And one of the things that will also be remembered, 4.8 million power outages. That was across 10 states, among the hardest hit South Carolina and Georgia. Now, the preliminary estimates, the rain is still holding on as we look across the southeast for your Sunday. It's not even the tropical setup yet. We are still talking about this low pressure system that's kind of been hanging out and will be a contender in the path of those tropical systems as we go through the weekend. Here's a look at what we've got for your Sunday. The showers, the eastern divide. And if you're towards the Atlantic coastline, this is where you have a better shot of finding that chance of rain as we move through your Sunday. The showers, thunderstorms just kind of skirting along the coast as this low does provide enough sprinkle activity over some of the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. South, though, you can see the showers, thunderstorms kind of picking up and intensifying as tropical moisture surges north here, and that will continue to create the chance for rainfall as we head into Monday. Take a look at Monday. To be wet for some of these spots, or at least the chance of rain as we go through the days to come. Whether if you're off towards the west, though, we could probably use a little bit of rain. We're just not going to see it. Dry along the southern Mississippi River Valley into the southern plains. The East Coast will have some challenges